Hello, Elisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my weekly deck reviews. If you are new to this series, the weekly deck reviews is where I share with you what I've been working with for the past week, what I think about it. Usually I am working with one tarot and one oracle deck each week. I rotate my Lenormand decks monthly, and yeah, so I'm gonna dive right in. Last week I didn't update you guys, but I also didn't change my decks, so nothing shifted. But last weekend I took the weekend off of filming because Peggy and I were getting over some winter crud, and I'm on the mend, but I'm still fighting a little bit of a throat tickle and a little coughing, so hopefully I will make it through this video without a coughing break. Wish me luck. But I really want to talk about the deck I've been working with for the past couple of weeks, and that is the Mythical Creatures Tarot. Full disclosure, I did not actually work with tarot at all much this week. I've just had my hands full with other projects and I just have been head down, getting things done, knocking it out, and I think I pulled cards 2 or 3 times this week with this deck, but last week I used it a ton. So this is the new Mythical Creatures Color Edition by Baba Studios. There is another edition of this deck that is out in black and white, or maybe a sepia. I'm not sure if it's true black and white or if it's just monochromatic. This deck is stunning. It is definitely gorgeous to work with. It's beautiful. I love this clamshell style of box. And I know there can be some issues, I guess, with these boxes, is that eventually they may wear at the like hinge, which is essentially just paper, but it feels so nice, and I just love not having to like fuss with like a lid and a bottom, which I realize makes me sound like a total princess, but I like this kind. And I also like the kind that wrap around. That's probably my favorite kind, but I love clamshell or one piece boxes. This does come with a little white book, which to be completely honest, I spent 0 time with besides just a quick flip through when I first got the deck. It does have, I think, enough information. I don't think this is a deck that requires the full guidebook, because I do believe that the little white book does let you know what each of the mythical creatures is, along with a little blurb about that mythical creature. So you're not going to be like out in the dark if you don't get the full-size guidebook, but I just think Baba Studios does a wonderful job with their guidebooks. I'm a bit of a guidebook junkie, so I definitely sprung for the guidebook as well. I will say this was not one that I felt like I needed to read cover to cover, even though that was kind of my original plan. I got as far as the Magician, not because it wasn't good, but because I just didn't have the time. However, I really enjoyed reading all the entries in here when I pulled a card. That said, I didn't get a lot of variety in my card pulls because I had a serious freaking stalker the last 2 weeks. I think 3 out of 5 draws I drew the 3 of Wands, which was just insane to me. So let's talk about this deck and sort of my thoughts after having really worked with it and spent time with it. The card stock, as always with Baba Studios, is really nice. Now, when I first opened my deck, there was a bit of a visible gap at one point in the cards. You can see that in my unboxing and initial walkthrough, which I will link up in the cards. But after having shuffled it, the gap just kind of disappears. So it wasn't anything that caused me any kind of concern. The Baba Studios cardstock does have like some kind of really nice core or something. I believe, I want to say it's a black core cardstock, but I'm not 100% sure. It is thin, but it is extremely flexible. It shuffles beautifully. It gets a little bit of a bow in it with shuffling and with use, but I kind of have grown to really like that about decks that get that. It's kind of a strange thing. When I was new to having multiple decks, like lots and lots of decks basically, when I was new to that, it used to bug me when any of them bowed at all, but now I really like it. So it just shows me that I've worked with the deck, that I've used it, that I've shuffled it. It's got a really nice shuffle. It's just, also this deck smells really good, and I don't think I talked about that in any of my previous videos where I talk about this deck. But yeah, it is absolutely, I should show you some images so you know what the heck I'm talking about. It's really lovely. The foiling in it is like, a lot of people have talked about it, but the camera just cannot do it justice. And like everybody literally says that in their reviews, because it's true. Like I can't even describe how lovely it is. And it's so delicate. I can't stop gushing. I really can't stop gushing about this deck. It is so dang pretty, and it was an absolute pleasure to read with. For a deck that is a pip deck, and I know this causes some concern for people who don't necessarily prefer to read with pip decks. But I have to say, as a pip deck, it's really, really aesthetically pleasing and enjoyable to look at and work with. The decorations on the pips are not intended to not be a nod to the Rider-Waite-Smith meanings or anything like that. It is very much a Marseille deck in that sense that it's a true pip deck. So I really, really enjoyed working with this, and I really don't want to put it away, so I'm probably not going to. More on that in a second. But it is absolutely gorgeous, and I've just been really enjoying it. The chords are all mythical creatures, the majors are all mythical creatures, and then the minors are the pips that are beautifully decorated. I cannot stop staring at it, or playing with it, or shuffling it. Really enjoyed this. Excuse me. See, I knew I was gonna make it. I'm probably not gonna edit that out because I have very little time for editing this weekend, but love, 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 love. Actually, I need to put that back in the box. What am I doing? I also selected this really gorgeous peggy bag out of her recent batch that she made because I think this just goes with the deck really, really well. So yeah, not sad about that match. When Peggy has me help her take product photos for her Etsy shop, it's kind of an opportunity to shop her stash of recently created goodies. So she may have 2 of a particular bag, and then suddenly she only has 1 to sell, and that's just the cost of doing business when you ask me to help with photos. That's what I think. But yeah, love this, and I'm going to be playing with it a little bit more, which I'll explain, as I mentioned, in a moment. The Oracle deck that I have been working with is the, what is this even called? Why am I forgetting? Botanical Inspirations. This is one of those decks that I got really for aesthetics. I thought it would be really nice to have a deck. By the way, this opens this way, which is really cool. Thank you, US Games. That's just kind of fun. There's a ribbon in here to take out the cards. This deck, if you haven't seen it before, there is I'll show you. It comes with a little fold-out sheet that when you open it up, just has basically each flower and its associated keywords. I just keep this tucked in under the ribbon in the bottom of my box because I don't really find myself reaching for that. The little guidebook that comes with this deck is actually pretty decent, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a second, but first let me just show you the cards so you know what I mean by aesthetics. First of all, can we not put words on the back of decks? This would have been gorgeous with just this green backing, or even just this like tan kind of design on the backing. Why words? No words. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Trying not to cough on you guys. So this is the look of the deck. It's really pretty. It's got different flowers on each card, and on each card you have sort of a keyword, or you have like the name of the flower, and then you have keywords at the bottom, and then under that you have a quote. So here's your name of the flower. I think that's the Latin name, and then you have the keywords, and then there's the quote. Now, just that alone makes this really, really nice to work with, but aesthetically this deck looks great next to any more vintage deck, a Victorian deck. It looks great next to mythical creatures, but it also looks great next to decks like the Art of, what's it called? Not the Art of Love Tarot, the Revival Art Tarot. Any decks that have that sort of older look or vintage look about them, this works great with. But what's really spectacular about this deck is you have several jumping off points as far as an intuitive read goes. You have the actual keywords. So for White Rose, it's new start and wisdom. And then the quote is, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, Aristotle. So you have the keyword to jump off of from a intuitive standpoint. You have the quote, and then the guidebook always has this beautiful little inspirational message. So for the White Rose, let's just look it up here. I'll share so you know what I mean. Do I know my ABCs? W comes, oh, it's probably under Rose. It is. It's under R for Rose. So the White Rose, the inspirational message is that the petals of the rose are like a spiral. The wisdom you have learned along the way keeps circling back to you, lifting you up to new heights. Even the pain of life's thorny lessons are signs that you have grown and are now prepared for a fresh new beginning. And then there's also a little bit more information about the flower. Here's what's really fantastic about that. Every time I drew a card to pair up with a tarot card or even multiple tarot cards, both the keyword and the quote and the message each sort of tied beautifully together to really give me this fantastic usable message. In fact, multiple times working with this deck, I found myself wanting to write in my tarot journal the inspirational message from the book, and I never do that. Like, I never do that. But with this deck, I really wanted to do that because the messages in here just really seemed to land in a poignant, useful way, and I really got a lot of fabulous reads. I think if you're reading for yourself, this is actually kind of a gem, and I don't think it's the kind of deck that I would ever normally reach for on its own merits. That sounds terrible, but I did pick it up because I thought it would look nice and work nice with some of my older decks where pairing a more modern oracle might be jarring, right? But it's actually just, I thoroughly enjoy working with it every time I pull it in. And I think with this in mind, I might be a little quicker to reach for this as a clarifier for my client readings, because I really find that the keywords and the quotes really by themselves do so much. And I just, yeah, I really, really love it. So this was a lot of fun to work with as well. But I am going to be putting this away for the upcoming week because I don't think I'm going to be working with an oracle deck at all. So let's talk about what's happening in the upcoming week. So I run my deck rotations usually from Saturday through the following Friday. So on Friday nights is when I usually film this weekly deck review video, and then I start working with my new deck the following day. However, next week is a little bit of a crazy week because middle of the week, well, near the end of the week, I'm going to be traveling down to Portland to go to the Northwest Tarot Symposium, where I am presenting a workshop, a class on tarot for walking the self-worth path. So I'm going to be traveling, and I really want the decks that I'm working with to be travel friendly. I don't want to bring anything fancy. I don't want to bring an oracle deck. So I'm going to talk about what I'm bringing with me to Newts. But before I do that, I just want to admit that until I leave for Newts, I'm just going to keep working with mythical creatures. I'm really enjoying working with this deck. I'm not quite ready to let it go. And since it's kind of a partial week, and because I didn't have as much time this week to work with it as I wanted, I need some more time before I'm willing to let it go. So from Monday through probably Thursday-ish, I'll be working with this deck again. A little bit on the weekend, but this weekend I am buried, so we'll see what happens. I like to do a week ahead spread. I like to do some things like that. So I will be working with this until Wednesday, Thursday. It's basically another week, really. And then when I leave for Newts, I'm going to be bringing with me, oh, one more thing before I get into what I'm bringing with me to Newts. In February, I have been working with the Celtic Lenormand. Now, I use Lenormand deck right now in my practice for my week ahead spread each week. I pull 3 Lenormand cards and I pull 3 runes. And the Celtic Lenormand has been really lovely to work with. This is such a versatile little Lenormand deck. And I love how many options you get for customizing the deck to sort of suit you and your path. So you can choose between a couple different birds cards. You can choose regular like songbirds, you can choose owls, you can choose chickens. So I chose the owls. You also have choices for the child card, the man and the woman card, which means you also have an extra child and an extra man and a woman card. And there's also a choice for the snake card, which is great, and for the dog card. So I chose the dog, but if you are a cat person, they also have a cat, which you could use in that same spot. There's also a different choice for tree. So I'm going to show you the extra cards in a moment, but I chose this tree right now. But you can work with the oak tree or the holly tree, which is really great. If you are following a pagan path, that might have some meaning for you. And I really love the illustrations. This is Will Worthington's art. So this is the same artist who did the Druidcraft Tarot and the Wildwood Tarot. And of course, this Lenormand deck would pair beautifully with either of those decks for good reason. I love that we have the salmon for the fish, because that is, of course, a fish that definitely plays a significant role in the Wildwood Tarot and in Celtic tradition. But yeah, so this is the Celtic Lenormand. Oh, and there's also a choice for the rider. So you have a female rider or a male rider. I chose the female rider. And I chose this snake. So let me show you the extra cards really quick. I will also say that this little Lenormand deck has an incredible guidebook. And if you are new to Lenormand and just want a little set to sort of get you started and to play, I actually really feel like there is enough information in this chunky little guidebook to get you started and to really get a handle for the basics of Lenormand. I also think that if you want to take Lenormand a little deeper, because you can, and it's not traditional necessarily to take it deeper, but you can. This has meanings that you can use for spiritual meanings, for dark and light, for spell use. There's an affirmation, and there's even associated deities for every single Lenormand card. and your basic description, which is what you typically would use as a newbie to Lenormand. So yeah, this actually is pretty great. It's got a lot of good information. There's some great introductory information in here, and I would definitely recommend this deck for somebody new to Lenormand just for the sheer versatility of it and all the fantastic information here. Whereas I feel like most Lenormand decks are just the cards, or they're the cards with a very flimsy little white book and some keywords. This is beefy and really super flexible and useful. So let me show you the extra cards. So here is the extra woman card, the extra man, the cat to replace the dog, the extra child, the chickens instead for the birds, the songbirds. This is a snake that shows it shedding its skin, which is wonderful for those of us who really associate the snake with transformation. And then we have the holly tree for wintertime and the male rider card. That is an awful lot of extra cards. And of course you could also choose to use both the oak tree and the holly tree in your deck and take different meanings depending on which one came up. You could also pull in the transformation snake. So you could use these in addition and shuffle them into your deck, or you could trade them out depending on what really resonates with you. What I like to do is put them in the bottom of this sturdy box because the cards themselves sit in one of these little cardboard trays. So I put all my extra cards in the bottom, like so, and the book fits on top, and you have a really nice box. This is a US Games deck, and again, they did an absolutely, yeah, some of my cards fell out of their little thing. They did an absolutely fantastic job with the production quality of this deck. Highly recommend this Lenormand, especially if you at all associate yourself with Celtic or pagan tradition. I think you would really enjoy working with this one. But I am going to be putting it away because I'm transitioning into March. So for March, I'm going to be working with the Prince Lenormand Oracle. Now I believe you can still, I want to say you can still get this. This was Ethany's very first ever deck that she created. This is a really cute Lenormand deck. I got this last year at the Northwest Tarot Symposium. It is silver gilded. I really like these backings. And this has just got a really sweet, simple art style. And I really enjoy it. It's super easy and clear to read. I love all the bright colors. And it's an absolute joy to work with. I'm not going to go through all of the cards, but I'll show you a few more. There's our path. Right? I really enjoy this. This has got like a playful, youthful energy that's super fun. And for extra cards, you actually have, I can't remember what this card is. JR, I forget. I might have to look that up. And then there's also like a genderless significator you can use, as well as an extra man, an extra woman. Is there 2 extra men? I might have to check. Yeah, these are both men cards. And then this is a woman card. I wonder if I have 2 women cards in my deck right now. And of course I can't wait. I have to look right this second. I might have shuffled, a lot of times I will shuffle an extra woman in. Oh, there's the woman card there. That's really interesting. I wonder, pardon me for sniffing on camera, how rude. Huh, okay. I guess we have 2 extra men cards. Oh wait, is there a man card in here? Maybe I just never shuffled a man in. That would explain it actually. Yeah, I'm gonna put one of these boys in the deck because I hadn't put a boy in my deck. That might be a problem. Anyway, so these are the extra cards, and there is a little white book in here, and Ethany signed mine, which is super fun. And I think, I just want to look up what that JR card is because that was bugging me. It should be near the end. She does have some key meanings in here as well as some spreads and some tips for reading the Lenormand. So the card that was, what's that card called? JR 37. 37, oh, it's a wild, oh, it's a joker. JR is for joker. So this is a wild card, and you can use this to represent power, attention, responsibility, or things going topsy-turvy. So you can shuffle that into your deck if you like. I haven't done that, but you totally could. So this is the Lenormand deck I'm going to be working with, and this deck will be coming with me to Northwest Tarot Symposium because I do want to bring a Lenormand with me because there's usually classes on both Tarot and Lenormand, and I'm not yet sure which classes I'm going to be attending, so I want to have a Lenormand deck handy. And then the tarot deck I'm going to bring with me to Northwest Tarot Symposium is probably not going to be a surprise. It's the same deck I brought last year, and that is my Centennial Rider-Waite-Smith in a tin. I really loved having a tin deck for travel. It just is so convenient. And this little deck is perfect for bringing to the various workshops. It's really, really nice cardstock. It's a joy to shuffle, and I really like working with a classic Rider-Waite-Smith based deck for classes, because a lot of times when you go to various workshops and classes, this is the imagery that is referenced. That may not always be the case, but it's the case often enough that I figured this is what I'm going to want to have with me. So I'm going to be bringing this with me when I go down there. I'm not going to try to travel with any of the other decks. I'm just going to be focusing on enjoying my time at the conference. But what I've done is I've tucked into one of Peggy's little wrap bags. I've tucked my tinned tarot and my Lenormand. And this is really great because when I'm in a class, this just opens up and I can use it like a mini reading cloth. So this is what I'm traveling with. It's all ready to go. I haven't packed anything else, but at least my tarot and my Lenormand deck situation is figured out, because yeah, I'm gonna try to travel as light as I can manage because I want room to bring things back. So yeah, that is what is coming with me to the conference. And I have been over the past couple weeks working with this really gorgeous Peggy cloth. I've been using this really pretty turquoise side this week. I'm just gonna keep using the same cloth because again, it's kind of like a crazy week. It's gonna be busy and I don't wanna try to change too many things up. So that is what I'm doing. I would love to hear down below what you think of the Mythical Creatures Tarot, the Celtic Lenormand, the Botanical Inspiration cards, or any of the other stuff I've talked about, or let me know what you've been working on, working with over the past week. I would love to hear. It's always fun to share in the comments down below what we're working with, what we're looking forward to working with, and keep each other informed. Thank you so much for hanging out with me so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!